Hey everyone, my name is Sophie Corey, and today I'm doing a review on The Lost Symbol by Dan Brown. Great book, great series, I love everything about it. So, this book has to do about the Freemasons, and of course Robert Langdon, the main character of the series. So, his friend was the highest three of the Masons 33, and his friend disappeared. And, so he gets wrapped into finding his friend to make sure he's okay. And if they don't unlock the lost symbol that the Masons have been protecting for hundreds of years, he will die. So that was the whole book, is about them unraveling the code, and unveiling the secrets that the Masons have been trying to keep for hundreds of years. So it's really good, fast-paced. I love his writing style. I love all of his historical things in it, and it was just a great book. I love Robert's character. He's really funny, and it's interesting because Robert's character doesn't necessarily believe in God, but he's always in these situations where someone believes in a God or part of some sort of religious cult sect or Catholicism or Masonry. So it's just really interesting because that people are, Robert Langdon, do you believe in God? And he doesn't, but he really believes in facts because he's a history teacher, and he's a symbologist, so he believes in the facts. So it's hard for him to wrap his mind around things that he can't see and all that. So this is a great book. I loved it. I think I gave it like 4 stars. So now I'm going to read you some of my favorite parts from the book. I wrote like 2 pages on this, so you have to bear with me. I am an artifact, an ever-longing icon. Michael, I hate to embarrass you, Professor, but are you Robert Langdon, who writes books about symbols and religion, aren't you? He nodded. I thought so, she said, because my group read your book about the sacred feminine in the church. What a delicious scandal that caused. You do enjoy putting the front in the hen house. Scandal wasn't really my intention. Well, Professor, for someone who claims to have no clue why he's here, you're doing quite well so far. The Prophecies of Washington, and it clearly depicts George Washington being transferred into a god. Actually, I'm sure you have Langdon raised his index finger, pointing straight up directly over your head. I wasn't a member of the Odysseus Champ, but I'm certain the Cyclops is a myth. Mr. Bellamy, even if the legend is true, this pyramid cannot possibly be the Masonic pyramid. Mythical treasures are always protected by test of worthiness, as you may recall. In the legend of the sword and the stone refuses to give up the sword except to Arthur, who is spiritually prepared to wield the sword's awesome power. You think this is the Masonic pyramid? Langdon demanded. It's a chunk of rock. Langdon doubted such a place existed for anyone who just physically assaults the director of a CIA officer of security. So anyway, they're looking for the lost symbol, and it ends up being underground, buried beneath the ground. So one of the ideas they're protecting is that man could become gods. They believe that man could actually become God, because the hypothesis of George Washington. And anyway, so here's another one of my favorite parts. This is when they're unlocking the clue. Silly me, and boy, Imposter is going to help decipher the pyramid. Catherine had no idea. The important issue at this point was that he and Catherine had deciphered the pyramid and now possessed the information required to release Peter. Peter is his friend they're trying to get away from this crazy guy, Malik. So now back to Malik. Malik is this guy who has kind of like changed his gender, so he thought, the difference between male and female, that it meshed things up and it created diversions and made things more difficult. So here's the thing. Malik is the one that has Peter, and Malik is Peter's son. because when Peter's son was 16, asked him to join the Masons, and if he to join the Masons or take his inheritance. And he thought that his father was making him choose one or the other, giving him ultimatum, and he felt hurt. And a little while after that, he got himself in jail, and he thought he died, but he faked his death. And so that really messed him up, being left in prison, because his father came down to visit him, and he wouldn't pay for him to get out, because he was hoping that he'd learn his lesson. So Malak ends up being his son, who's been doing all this, who kidnapped his father. So anyway, yeah, it's just a really good, interesting story. So he was just really upset and hurt and devastated by his father, because he felt that, he made him choose between, one thing or the other, and he didn't want to do it. And also his wife died like about a year before this, and so Robert works with his sister. So Robert's working with his sister to crack the code. It was a great book. If you like mystery and intrigue, I suggest you check it out. Well, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, just type them down below. And if you want to know any more information on the book, just let me know. Thanks for watching. Have a good week. Bye.